Giants are going to be an option, it looks like. We're waiting to see about the Pittsburgh Steelers while we wait for it. We were talking in the last hour. Russell Wilson's going to have options, right? There's some of your options right there. Into Cleveland to spend the day with the Browns tomorrow to see what they have to say, to see what he has to say, to see if there's a potential match, to see if Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett would be the Browns quarterbacks this season. This is a team that went to the playoffs a couple of years ago. We'll see how that works out. And obviously that would have, I would think, an impact on the draft as well.
Okay, Adam Schefter with us for the rest of the show. We'll see what else happens news-wise. Lewis Riddick, Ryan Clark joining us now.
I have a question, guys.
And Dan Orlovsky.
Nobody's uncomfortable at this table?
Well, it's a little weird because normally
we're so low. We feel so tall.
You're also kind of high up.
Yeah, your knees are higher than mine right now.
We can take you down a notch.
Yeah, okay, maybe
let's react to this.
But now I'm so much shorter because Dan and Lewis, huge humans.
We're going to see how many stops in the elevator RC takes during the show.
You look so little next to me.
Ryan, what do you think about the latest here? You hear Russell Wilson visiting the Browns, then going to go visit the Giants. What the breaking news from Adam?
It's much like last year, right? Russ was going on all of these different visits, trying to figure out what's the best place for him. Obviously, it seems the Cleveland Browns are prepared to play without Deshaun Watson this season. And you think about having an opportunity to have a competition between Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson. I truly think that puts you in a better place than you were last season. And with Kevin Stefanski and some of those things we've been able to see him do, I think having Russell Wilson will give him an opportunity to have a very good offense.
I like Russell Wilson in Cleveland. I think that it makes a lot of sense when it comes to Kevin Stefanski, who's their head coach and play caller, taking over the play calling reins again. And the run action mixed with the play action meshes well with Russell's style of play. I'd also say this. If you're Cleveland and you're trying to and potentially signing Russell Wilson, it makes me think quarterback would be off the table at 2. And then you have to factor in who that player would then be at 2 for Cleveland. And it's more than likely going to be Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. So then if you tell me it's Cleveland with Travis Hunter and the offensive line and Kevin Stefanski and Russell, this is a team, because of their talent, that can absolutely compete if Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback with the addition of a player like Travis Hunter.
You think Cleveland can compete?
Absolutely.
What do you mean compete?
I mean, I think that they're playing meaningful games in December with the chance to be a playoff football team.
I don't see it. But nevertheless, I think what this does, though, for sure, it obviously really crystallizes where Pittsburgh's mind's at as far as the quarterback situation is concerned. You're letting this guy go around and take visits here and there where you already know him better than anybody. I mean, you know, like when it comes to free agency, if the home team is letting you go out there, me as the acquiring team, I'd be sitting there going, now why are they letting him just walk like this, considering they have nobody on their roster at quarterback? You know, and I know, look, at this point in time, Cleveland may be saying, look, this is just a bridge anyway. And we're just trying to accumulate enough guys and seeing, like, letting the cream rise to the top and see if he or Kenny Pickett or whoever else it is. And it's just amazing to me in Cleveland now, Deshaun Watson just kind of sitting over here collecting millions of dollars. What a hell of a situation for Cleveland.
When we talk about Cleveland, we're not even mentioning Deshaun.
But that mistake is made, right?
True.
Like there is no fixing that. Yeah. So what it is how do we find a solution in the midterm, right? If he's having another Achilles surgery, if we're trying to find a way to be good without him, and even understanding if he comes back, we may not want to play with him.
Right.
So can we get a guy that can start for this team and allow us to play meaningful games? And I know, Lewis, you're saying that this team can't compete. We also have to remember what they did with the quarterback carousel and Joe Flacco finishing the season.
11-6. They were
absolutely.
Okay, and I know
that's true. I mean, but what they did 2 years ago with Joe Flacco, this is a totally different team now at this point in time. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, any team can kind of like flip the switch, hit a couple good moves, get on a roll, and next thing you know, everything's looking like something you never projected it to be. It's just a very precarious situation.
For context, Myles Garrett, of course, got his money there, but one of his big gripes was what were they doing at the quarterback position? So it does maybe make sense why they'd be aggressive in this way, or maybe careful in some other ways. They're trying to do everything they can to keep him happy, and who knows what kind of conversations
You mean to tell me he can't be happy with all that money?
Money doesn't make you happy, right?
He wants to win.
You's a lie.
You know what?
Money buy you all kind of stuff that make you happy. Fly you to places to make you happy private.
When we started the show, Adam was on the phone figuring out this Russell Wilson news. So, Adam, I want to get your take on Aaron Rodgers and what is happening there, since we didn't get to hear it from you off the top.
Aaron Rodgers is basically processing what he wants to do, thinking about how he wants to approach this. The Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting for a decision from Aaron Rodgers. The New York Giants are waiting for a decision from Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson isn't waiting for a decision from Aaron Rodgers because he's going on a plane tonight to go visit the Browns and then the Giants. So he's proceeding with his business as Aaron Rodgers tries to figure out exactly how he wants to move forward and what he wants to do here going forward. But I was told yesterday morning, we said this on NFL Live yesterday, this decision from Aaron Rodgers could, quote unquote, take some time. I don't know whether some time is a day, a week, a month, but it's going to take some time before Aaron Rodgers comes up with what he wants to do moving forward.
And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't be held hostage by this. It would seem that if they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers, Omar Khan, the general manager, has decided, along with Mike Tomlin, that this is our priority. This is the guy we'd like to go into the 2025 season with in the quarterback room. But if Aaron Rodgers does need a ton of time to make this decision, you have to at least start to build your quarterback room. And I would think even then, you'd have to be looking at this draft, at the Jackson Darts, at some of the Tyler Shucks, and trying to figure out if some of those guys can come in right away the next year, and if not compete, if it's Aaron Rodgers, find a way to get on the field the next year.
I don't even have anything to say right now because he already mentioned it for me. He said Tyler Shucks.
I watched him.
Oh, I know.
I watched it in person, bro.
I know. I mean, we called 2 of their games this fall. And you know what's interesting, just in all seriousness, for Pittsburgh, what this is probably forcing them to do, well, there's no question they're doing this, is they are definitely doing their due diligence as far as draftable prospects. They have to have a second and third option, especially if this thing drags out. And there's no question for me that at 21, they're thinking, who could we get at the quarterback position, or maybe even move down and still get him?
That was my thought. They better be right. Pittsburgh better be right with the information that they have.
You said for Aaron Rodgers on the quarterbacks in the draft?
Both, but Aaron Rodgers specifically, because living in the world where Russell's taking visits and one of those 2 teams he chooses, hypothetically, and then Aaron doesn't play or goes to the Giants, Russell goes to Cleveland, then Pittsburgh's left going, we got nobody.
Yeah.
And
literally nobody.
And those quarterbacks that we think might be there at 21 may not be there at 21. So they better be right with the information that they're gathering about the potential of Aaron Rodgers.
It makes you think about when the Raiders missed out on Michael Penix Jr. It's a different scenario, right? Different type of quarterbacks. But to your point, if you're thinking you're going to get a guy somewhere and then you miss on him and then you're standing there saying,
with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
You might miss on him in 2 or 3 weeks from now, too. So you might be into the second week of April going, oh, good Lord.
What is the contingency plan for free agency, though, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? You have to have a veteran on this team that if he has to end up being your guy, can play football.
Jameis, maybe Kirk Cousins gets moves off. Carson Wentz,
that's the list of guys that you wind up having to fall down